Taylor Swift's emotional breakdown after what just happened to Travis Kelce. No one expected the night to end this way. What was supposed to be another powerful, electric moment in their headline-making love story suddenly turned into one of the most emotionally devastating nights Taylor Swift has faced in years, and those closest to her say they have never seen her react like this before. Behind closed doors, away from cameras and cheering fans, Taylor Swift completely broke down after learning what had just happened to Travis Kelce. And once the truth surfaced, everything changed. The night that started like a fairy tale. Earlier that evening, everything looked perfect on the surface. Taylor had been glowing, radiant, confident, smiling the way she only does when she feels safe. She had just wrapped up an exhausting schedule, but her energy shifted the moment she knew Travis would be nearby. Friends say she'd been counting down the hours, replaying his last voice note, already planning how she'd surprise him after the game. The crowd roared. The stadium lights blazed. Travis was locked in, focused, determined, carrying the weight of expectations not just from fans, but from himself. Taylor watched from afar, heart pounding, silently cheering for the man she loved. But then, something went wrong. The moment everything froze. It happened fast, too fast. One moment Travis was moving with confidence. The next, the energy in the stadium shifted. The cheers faded into stunned silence. Cameras caught him slowing down, clutching himself in visible discomfort, his face tightening in a way fans immediately recognized as not normal. Taylor noticed instantly. Her smile vanished. Sources say she stood up abruptly, eyes locked on the field, her hands gripping the railing so tightly her knuckles turned white. She tried to stay calm, telling herself it was nothing, just a scare, just a minor issue. But deep down, she knew. The call that shattered her. The real breakdown didn't happen in public. It happened later. Back in a private space, away from the noise, Taylor's phone rang. And when she heard the voice on the other end, strained, controlled, but unmistakably shaken, her world stopped. Travis told her what had happened. Not the version the public would hear. Not the watered-down explanation. The real version. The fear. The uncertainty. The possibility that everything he'd worked for, everything they'd been planning, could suddenly change. Taylor didn't interrupt. She didn't speak. She just listened. And when the call ended, she collapsed. She couldn't hold it in anymore. According to those close to her, Taylor completely lost control of her emotions. She cried, harder than anyone had seen in years. Her hands shook. Her breathing became uneven. This wasn't about fame. This wasn't about football. This wasn't about headlines. This was about fear. Fear of losing the future they had quietly begun to imagine together. Fear of watching someone she loved suffer. Fear of being powerless. She kept saying, "This isn't fair, not now, not after everything," one insider revealed. For Taylor, this wasn't just Travis Kelce the athlete. This was Travis Kelce the person, the man who grounded her, protected her, laughed with her when the world felt too loud. And now, he was hurting. The guilt she couldn't escape. What made it worse? Taylor blamed herself. She wondered if the pressure of public attention had added weight to his shoulders. If the constant spotlight had made things harder. If loving her had somehow cost him peace. She kept replaying everything, a source said. Every game she attended, every moment they were seen together. She asked herself if stepping into his world had put extra pressure on him. That guilt crushed her. And for a woman who writes her pain into songs, this pain was too raw for words. The silence that scared everyone. For hours, Taylor went silent. No texts. No calls. No social media. Her team noticed immediately. This wasn't normal. She sat alone, staring into nothing, clutching her phone. Like it was the only thing tethering her to him. Every vibration made her jump. Every minute without news felt like torture. She looked broken, someone said quietly. Not dramatic. Not theatrical. Just, shattered. When she finally spoke. When Taylor finally reached out again, her voice cracked. She didn't ask about headlines. She didn't ask about recovery timelines. She didn't ask what fans were saying. She asked one thing. Are you okay? And when Travis tried to reassure her, tried to sound strong, she lost it all over again. Because she could hear it. The fear he was hiding. Why this moment changed everything. This wasn't just a scare. This was a wake-up call. For the first time, Taylor was forced to confront a terrifying truth: no matter how powerful love is, it can't protect you from everything. And for someone who's always turned heartbreak into art, this moment felt different. It wasn't poetic. It wasn't romantic. It was real. Painfully real. The aftermath. By morning, Taylor's eyes were swollen. Her voice was hoarse. Her heart felt heavier than it had in years. But something else had changed too. She was more certain than ever. This wasn't a chapter she'd walk away from. This wasn't a love she'd abandon when things got hard. If anything, what happened to Travis Kelce only deepened her commitment. Because love isn't proven during perfect moments. It's proven during the ones that break you. Final thought. The world may see glamour, fame, and fairy tales. But behind the scenes, Taylor Swift's emotional breakdown revealed something far more powerful. A woman terrified of losing the man she loves, and brave enough to stay anyway. And whatever comes next. One thing is clear. This moment changed them forever. Taylor Swift's emotional breakdown after what just happened to Travis Kelce. What began as an ordinary night, bright stadium lights, roaring fans, and the familiar rhythm of game day energy, slowly turned into one of the most emotionally overwhelming moments Taylor Swift had experienced in a very long time. For the first time since stepping into the public spotlight with Travis Kelce, the world saw a different side of her, not the fearless performer commanding a global stage, not the confident storyteller in control of every lyric, but a woman shaken to her core, fighting tears as events spiraled beyond her control. A night that started with hope. Earlier that evening, Taylor was in unusually high spirits. Friends noticed it immediately. She laughed more freely, smiled without restraint, and seemed lighter, almost glowing. Travis had been preparing for one of the most important moments of his career, and she was determined to be there, not as a superstar, but as his biggest supporter. From the moment she arrived, the atmosphere felt electric. Cameras followed her every move, but she barely noticed. Her focus was locked on the field, on Travis warming up, on every stretch, every deep breath he took before the game began. This wasn't about headlines or hype, it was personal. She believed this night would end in celebration. She was wrong. The moment everything shifted. Midway through the game, something changed. It wasn't dramatic at first, just a pause, a subtle stillness that seasoned fans recognize instantly. The stadium noise dipped. Players gathered. Medical staff rushed in. Taylor's smile vanished. Her hands tightened together as she leaned forward, eyes wide, heart racing. From the stands, she couldn't hear what was being said, but she didn't need to. The body language told the story. Travis was down, and it wasn't part of the plan. Seconds felt like hours. Her breathing grew shallow. Friends tried to reassure her, but she barely heard them. All she could see was him, still, surrounded, vulnerable in a way she'd never seen before. Panic behind the poise. As the delay stretched on, Taylor's composure cracked. This wasn't a lyric she could rewrite. This wasn't a moment she could control. With melody or metaphor. This was real life, unfolding in front of millions. Her eyes filled with tears she tried desperately to hold back. People nearby noticed her hands shaking. She kept whispering the same words under her breath, words only those closest to her could hear. In that instant, the world-famous artist disappeared, replaced by someone raw, terrified, and powerless. When Travis was finally helped up, the relief was immediate, but incomplete. Something was wrong. You could see it in his expression, in the way he favored one side, in how carefully he moved. And Taylor knew. The walk that broke her. When Travis exited the field early, escorted rather than celebrated, Taylor stood frozen. The stadium buzzed with speculation, but she couldn't process any of it. Her chest felt tight, her vision blurred, and suddenly the weight of everything, the pressure, the fear, the love, came crashing down all at once. That's when it happened. She broke. Tears streamed down her face as she turned away from the cameras, burying her face in her hands. Friends tried to shield her, but the emotion was too strong, too sudden. This wasn't a single tear or a quiet